No, we were not sharp tonight. The third quarter is what got away from us, but even the first half, it felt like there was a lot of, excuse me, whether it felt like there were controllable moments and then they obviously took advantage of them, made us pay, or just some uncharacteristic lack of game plan execution. And in the third quarter, obviously, is when they hopped on it and caught some separation. But I don't think we were very sharp from the beginning.
They were attacking Vic whenever he was guarding kind of up on the weak side slot. They were able to drive on him. Was he in the right position there? Is there something your defense needs to figure out about how all the shift is supposed to look when he's not in the typical positions he's in?
You know, I think there's two things to that. I don't want to speak for Mark or their group. I think obviously they wanted to probably get him away from the ball and then make him have to make decisions on when he was helping to close out and to attack him and whatnot. It felt like a few times, but we were out of place a lot, and there was a stretch there where it was even hard to figure out what we were doing wrong because when you're not in the right starting spot, it's hard to then move to the next part of the execution of whatever the scheme and coverage is because it's already been a breakdown and now guys aren't connected, and that was what we had a lot of tonight. So we'll have to go back and watch the film and see if there was a consistent theme of that, but we had a lot of holes in schematic coverage, game plan execution tonight in all facets.
We were here a few weeks ago. Every time you guys have beaten the Thunder, you've been like very clear to have everyone hold their horses. Like, you guys aren't the best team in the league yet. They're the defending champs. How much did tonight maybe show how much of a reality your team still has to climb? And what do you expect for your team to be able to kind of like fight and grow from this?
Yeah, I don't think we'll put too much stock in terms of this game being more weighted than the others or anything like that. I think it's January in the NBA. It's tough. I've said it before. You look around the league, and this is the month to test you mentally, physically, and emotionally. And these games will help us. And these games will be learning experiences that we need to go through, clearly. And they will serve us well. And it's our job to make sure we maximize the learning moments from these games.
Victor is sort of treated like a villain here already. I know that's part of just him being great and kind of the rivalry that we've talked about with this matchup. But as a young player, how does he sort of like, how have you seen him handle like hostile crowds and, you know, when fans are going at him a little bit?
Yeah, there's so much narrative around Victor. I think he's proven at a young age that he's pretty comfortable in his own skin. You know, I think it was his rookie year. We were in Madison Square Garden. They were chanting overrated, and we had a tough game. We played him not too long after that on Christmas Day, and he did okay. So to me, that was a pretty good symbolism of, I think he embraces all of it appropriately without putting too much energy or overdoing it.
I feel like he held up tonight as far as the minutes and everything. Took a couple spills, some collisions, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think he held up good. You know, he finished the game. He played almost 28 minutes. Again, I think he could have been a lot sharper, as we all could have been, and great learning moments. But yeah, it's just good to see him continue to string some games together and have some high moments and some learning moments. And we got to play. We got to walk this thing down and play each game. And at Boston, at Minnesota, and here is a heck of a road trip. And now we go home, and we got some good teams coming in there, and this thing doesn't stop. So you extrapolate what you need and what you can, and get the rest where you can and what you need to do to get ready, and stay with the current.
Is it good for Victor to have like a place where he gets pretty reviled, because everyone around the league is always in such awe of him? Like, everyone is so positive about him all the time. Is it good for him to have that friction in a few places?
I'm sure there's opinions on that. Honestly, from my point of view, I'm not sure if it matters. I think he's old school in the type that, he's not. I don't think he puts too much stock in a rivalry or an individual this, and I don't think he's overly friendly with anybody. I think he keeps it right where it's supposed to be. So whatever happens organically, I'm sure will happen, and I don't think it'll move him much.
This feel like somewhat of I guess a bounce back game for Steph, you know, after all the struggles he had. Seemed like it was a more positive performance for him.
Yeah, we got, we got some guys that feel like they've maybe had some tough stretches, guys trying to get back to their roles, waiting on Devin to get back, tough losses here or there. It's just they got to keep showing up to work and clocking in, and if they do and keep putting in the work, they're too talented and too good to not bounce back. And so yes, to your point, to see Steph 5 for 9, 2 for 5 from 3, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 turnovers, all the stuff that we're used to seeing, that box score full is nice. But and I just read De'Aaron's, so I'm wrong about all that. But he actually had a few more of all that. But it's good to see the aggression and just the instincts. He's at his best when he's instinctual and he's playing aggressive. And when he crashes the car or has some slip-ups, you learn from him and you don't blink, and we got to stay together, and that's what they've been doing. They've been staying together, and we got to just keep filling our cups up and coming to work.
Does De'Aaron feel like one of those guys that's quote-unquote struggling or grinding, or is he just kind of above all that at this point?
No, I mean, I think everybody right now, they're mentally, emotionally, or physically fatigued in some capacity. Not us, the whole league is my point. And so I think De'Aaron is playing as hard as I've ever seen him on both sides of the floor, pushing the pace, being a great team defender, pressuring the ball. The amount of output of energy is extreme, and I think he's been phenomenal.
Playoffs, teams are going to be able to take away some of your best shooters. So you're going to need guys like Steph, Dylan, De'Aaron to just launch as soon as they get it. It seemed like tonight, it's stood out even more so than usual that like Steph was shooting right off the catch. Like, what conversations have you had with him and with Dylan, especially those two, about just trying to lock in on shooting off the catch early in games so you can try to get that going?
We've talked about every possession and every shot we take is our shot. So if we run clean offense and have the appropriate pace and spacing and move the ball as we should, when the ball finds the right guy and he's open, he should shoot it. Simple as that. We want to empower guys, and there's no quick fix or all of a sudden you go and start being a 44% shooter in this league. You got to learn where your shots are from, and I think shot expectation sometimes is more important here than shot quality. Everybody talks about shot quality. A lot of times when you see the best teams that make shots, they know exactly where their and their teammates' shots are coming from, and that really eases your mind and gives you a lot of confidence when you know your shots are coming from, and that's something we'll continue to try to improve on.
Thanks.
Thank you.